is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're tuning in from, as the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks set to do business here in preseason 2025. Obviously, the first game between the Canucks and Oilers so far in this preseason, and a chance to look at a team that, might have some expectations coming out of a down year that could complicate the Oilers' picture in this 25-26 season. Like I said, the Flames, the Canucks, they both have a very good shot at making the playoffs, so long as they play their game. Obviously, for the Canucks, that's their game from 2 years ago, and for the Flames, that's their game that they played last year with just a little bit more win in the overtimes that they lost. So that's where we find ourselves, obviously about 45 to 50 minutes away from puck drop on Sportsnet tonight. That is the beauty. You can watch this game for free on Sportsnet if you've got a television package that includes sports, or you got Sportsnet Plus. You don't need Oilers Plus this evening, so that's a big time W right there. And other than that, hey, it's great to be live for the first time. I think counting this, it goes back to sometime in 2024 is when I was last live out of the studio on YouTube. So glad to have you joining along, and thank you for being along for the ride here tonight. Of course, if you're just joining up right now, vote in the poll for who you think has been the best preseason Oiler this preseason. Obviously, I think Tyrati will always hold that spot, but you get where I'm going. There's Savoy on there, there's Howard, there's Tomashik, and of course Pickard is kind of the top few names I decided to look at here today for you to vote amongst. So like I said, glad to have you aboard, glad to be live for the first time in a long while. It's been a journey here the past year and a half. Obviously, everything that's gone on leading up past the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs has been absolutely a whirlwind. Looking forward to getting back to a more regular schedule here in 25-26. It was kind of a difficult go last year, staying in the rhythm. The Oilers starting the way they did. Obviously ending the way they did as well to some degree, but I think it was a lot easier of a loss to swallow this year because we'd already done it once versus swallowing the loss the year before. So yeah, no, you know what? Hopefully a good summer in the books, rested, relaxed, and, get ready for what is hockey season now. We are, basically 10 days away as of tomorrow from puck drop against the Calgary Flames in game number 1 of 82. So there's a whole bunch going on there, and then obviously the next year after that it'll jump to 84 games. So there is going to be a lot of hockey over the next several years for the Edmonton Oilers, as there already has been. I mean, this group probably has a couple of 1 or 2 or 3 more deep playoff runs in them in the next 5 years, and then we'll kind of steady out where you probably end up going to Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals kind of schedule, an early exit, a late exit, an early exit, a late exit. So that will determine kind of where we're going here in this situation with probably Connor McDavid, probably of course how we go about building the team over the next few years. But that's where Matt Savoy and Ike Howard are going to come in very, very much so. Tomashik could be a very pivotal piece as well moving forward. I mean, he's 29 or something like that, so he's a guy that we could end up having around for 4 years as an impact player at bare minimum. So that is the beauty of this roster construction for the Oilers over the span of the summer, is it's been a renovation of the prospect pool. You see Josh Szymanski, Viljami Marhala come in, obviously Atro Lepinen as well. He's an older guy but still pretty young, and a guy that could definitely very well impact the Edmonton Oilers in a positive manner going forward if all is allowed to happen. And when I mean all is allowed to happen, he has to get things rolling with the Bakersfield Condors and then get up to the Edmonton Oilers. So plenty of work to be put in from a perspective of Atro Lepinen yet. I think we all loved what Marhala has brought so far in the preseason, and I think too, Josh Szymanski, he's going to be a tough guy to kick off this roster, but I think you'll see him kick off pretty close to the end of training camp here, unless there's more injuries. Again, friends, just testing all the equipment here for the first time in a long while, so if there's any glitching with the camera, just know that I already am aware of that, as you probably have seen in the videos as well. As it's just something I can't quite figure out in the settings, but We are rolling along here. We're about 40 minutes, 50 minutes away from puck drop here tonight, so we'll have ourselves a pretty quick game time here. I just figured we'd fire up a live stream and at least get through the first period of tonight's action. I doubt I'm going the full way. Got to get rolling on a big day of work tomorrow, Monday, and then it's a big week of work leading into the first week of hockey season the week after. So there's going to be a lot going on here tonight. So friends, welcome aboard to the live stream. Glad to have you aboard. As you know, right now I just got football on the TV. I wish I actually had more information for you about tonight's game. It's kind of where we're at, is I don't have much information at all here. I can't seem to find any lines. If anybody knows who posted the lines today, that would be greatly appreciated. I know Bob and Tony don't have anything, nor does Tom, so we're just kind of waiting this one through, kind of recapping everything that I can possibly think of off the top. I guess to notify you today, as I look back at the James Hamblin jersey, is the Hamblin jersey pretty key. You saw that over social media as the preseason kicked off and the rookie games kicked off, but Hamblin cleared waivers, Brown cleared waivers, and who is that other guy that cleared waivers? Somebody else on our squad there today. Oh boy, why am I blanking on this? You know what I mean. But yeah, no, you know what I mean. All the guys on the roster that were on waivers yesterday cleared. That's good news for the Edmonton Oilers here today as we get set up for what should be a pretty quick couple of cuts here following the next two games. I think the Oilers, given their injury situation, will likely have the final roster pretty much decided by the end of Game 7 of the preseason. Tonight obviously being Game 6. You got two on the road against Seattle and Vancouver. So, I mean, maybe you go out there and decide everything in Game 8, but I think for the Oilers, it's pretty clear, especially, who knows, I haven't heard any updates on the timeline of which Vasily Podkolzin will be back. You know, Zach Hyman's out until November 1st. Max Jones continues to be out as far as I can see. So there's a lot of injuries up front. Obviously, Jake Wallman as well. I think the defense, you might see some guys hang around to the very end of the preseason, just simply because of Jake Wallman being a little bit banged up, and the Oilers probably trying to protect their top D-man for now. So we're waiting on the game here. If you're just joining up, it's 5:23 Mountain Time. The game is at 6 p.m. Mountain Time here this evening. Obviously playing the Vancouver Canucks, a good game kind of for the Oilers to test themselves. Hopefully some more NHL regulars in the lineup for the Canucks. A little bit more of a test for the Oilers here tonight. And then, yeah, just go roll from there and keep seeing who looks good. That is truly the big thing here, is the Oilers have had a lot of standout performances in the preseason thus far. And as long as that continues for the rest of the preseason, that's all that matters, because we know how painful last year's preseason was. I know preseason means nothing, but everybody was telling me that I was blowing smoke up there, you know what's, when I was saying, oh man, a slow preseason means nothing for the Oilers. And they had a terrible start to the year, considering how bad the start to the year was the year before. And the expectations, once again, for another year in a row were sky high. And the Oilers really didn't rise to the occasion out of the gate to deliver the impact he needed there from them. So that was the tough part. And I mean, for me, right, we start 0-3, the terrible game against the Jets, the game against the Hawks, and the game against the Flames. You score 2 goals in 3 games, you get blown up. Basically, I don't even remember what the scores were. I know it was double digits and the Oilers had 2. So tough part there is you want to give the Oilers the benefit of the doubt when they're struggling early on in the season. But after the way we started the year before, and then we go out there and do that again last year, it just sucked me right out of it. So that was tough, but we ended up managing. And you know what? We got back to the playoffs and we got back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. As long as the Oilers are going out there and winning hockey games, at least you got something to cheer about all year. And you know, it's tough because you would have loved to see them win one or both Stanley Cups, but I think the Oilers just have a little bit more to go in the tank before they can get there, honestly. And I think we all know that, right? You need that good mix of veteran speed, that veteran youth, veterans and speed. You also need the veterans and the youth, and you need the guys that can perform. Whether you want to say goaltending's good enough or not to win, I think you watch some guys in the top 6 and the bottom 6 both years go a little less quiet for the Oilers' for sake. If they're a little less quiet offensively in games 1 through 3 of the Florida Panthers series in 24, you probably end up winning that series. And obviously, too, if you end up, getting more contributions out of the top 6 guys in the Stanley Cup Finals after they ran out of gas, basically, against the Panthers in 25, you probably win that one as well. So there's a lot of what if, what could have been, what might have been. But for us here today, it all starts again brand new here on the channel. I think I ended up totaling 7 live streams last year. So looking forward to hopefully getting a little bit more live coverage for you this year. I know some of you, the regulars, back in the stream here tonight. And we're hoping that, again, the Oilers give us a little bit more to live on here early on in the season, because, I mean, it just can't be 3 years in a row. If the Oilers decide to go 3 years in a row, absolutely struggling out of the gate, that's going to be painful to watch. And especially if Connor McDavid doesn't sign, you know where all the headlines are going to be at. And I don't think any of us want those headlines surrounding a bad start. That is very, very clear to me that, if we have a very bad start and you've got the questions around Connor McDavid, oh boy, that's going to be an ugly time to be an Edmonton Oilers fan in the sea of NHL fans out there. So I guess stay tuned, friends. If you just joined up and you're enjoying this very mundane start to the live stream, again, like I said, I'm not trying to burn myself out here. We still got 33 minutes to puck drop, but definitely make sure to do all the good things. Leave a like on the stream. I'll flash the subscribe graphic later when I go upstairs for a break, so no need to do that quite yet. But glad, like I said, to be back live for the first time in a long dang while. It's been a hot minute since I've had a live stream up here on the channel in the Oilers anything out of the studio, basically, because we didn't do a single playoff live stream. I thought I'd get up to 1 or 2 at some point, but I just kind of, settled down for round 1, ended up having my brother in town, and we ended up spending it down at Main Street in Airdrie. Again, friends, I don't have any advertisers, I don't have any sponsors on this channel. But when I can help out some local businesses that I really enjoy, I'm going to give them the shout outs. And Main Street Beer and Barbecue, downtown Airdrie. If you're in the area, if you're ever in Calgary, stop by. It is an absolutely great time, great food, great people, and honestly can't speak enough about how awesome it has been to have that kind of place available to me over the past several years down south here in Alberta. So Main Street would be one for sure. Again, if you're also looking, I guess, to say a personal recommendation, if you're ever down in Ice District and feel like wandering a little bit south of Ice District, more into downtown Edmonton, definitely make your way down to Kelly's Pub as well. I like my food, and Kelly's Pub is an absolute beautiful time, that's for sure. So that's where we're currently sitting. Just figured I'd get that in there. But yeah, to get back to it, the playoffs was a good time. Obviously got through the first round. The Oilers ended up winning, which was great. And then from there on out, it was just kind of hanging out with some of my best friends and watching hockey and enjoying memories and making good times happen. So don't know if that'll be the case again this year, but hopefully it will be. As the playoff live streams 2 years ago, they were absolutely fantastic. It obviously did great things for the channel. I get that, but at the end of the day, to give you a little bit behind the scenes look here on behind the camera, is you miss so much when you're watching the TV with half volume. You're live streaming, you're trying to keep up with the chat, you're trying to keep everything going. You miss so much, and it sucks so much of the enjoyment out of a hockey game where I just want to be nervous and yells things that I can't say on camera at the TV when something doesn't go my way for the Oilers. So it's kind of, it was a nice break last year to be able to just sit back and relax and enjoy a hockey game that night in, night out delivered absolutely everything that the playoffs are. So that's where we're at. But for the Oilers tonight, we're waiting to see kind of what happens here for the game against the Canucks. Like I said, I haven't seen anything when it comes to when it comes to the lineup yet tonight. So still waiting on news there. I don't, yeah, see, I know Patrick had something up there, but I haven't had a chance to see anything about the lines here tonight. So we're just waiting for the Oilers to maybe announce something, or one of the insiders, to put something out here sometime before we get going too heavy into tonight's action. Obviously tonight the game is also on Sportsnet. If you haven't had a chance to check that out yet this year, I guess maybe get your Sportsnet Plus account going, or if you've got basic cable, get over to Sportsnet for 6 o'clock and get tuned into the game. It's 5:30 right now Mountain Time, friends. Thank you so much for being aboard here on the pre-game edition for the Oilers. I think as you see here in the stream poll that I put up, if you haven't had a chance to vote in that, that's at the top of your chat right now. Savoy, Pickard, Tomaszek, and of course Howard. Those were my 3 picks. Ace comes in with a very good, keen pick there as well, and Noah Philp. I think Noah Philp, though, for me, his preseason was last year, right? Noah Philp just had to show up and go to work this year. He had nothing left to prove after last year's preseason. The Oilers, just the way they chose to handle the roster last year, maybe not the best construction right out of the gate, and I think you're going to see a lot more favoritism to the guys that earned spots this year versus guys who have not. And I know what that spells for one Matthias Janmark. We've talked about it pretty much all summer. That spells trade. And I will tell you, Noah Philp's going to be an Edmonton Oiler pretty much all season. And if he's not, he will not be part of the Oilers organization anymore, because somebody will be looking to claim him on waivers, guaranteed. So for the Oilers right now, it's just kind of, you got to make the selections based on the fact that you've got some guys that are waiver eligible, but you've also got some guys that have heavily earned spots and deserve spots. Ike Howard and Matt Savoy were guaranteed right from the start of preseason, or start of preseason now, of a spot. And I think outside of them, there's been Tomaszek, who was guaranteed a top 9 spot at one time this offseason by Bob Stauffer. You've got as well a guy in Noah Philp, who should have been the 4th line center for a long period last year. Got into several games, but not as much as he should have, given the fact that Matthias Janmark went out there and scored 2 goals in, no time, or a lot of time, and didn't even shoot a puck in past a goalie last year. So not trying to harp on Matthias Janmark, but again, I think at this point the Oilers, for the cap hit and the cap space, can do a little bit better. So we're just waiting on this game, obviously, to get underway here at 6 p.m., friends. If you are along for the ride here early, I do appreciate that. Some of you have probably wondering what's been going on, if I haven't already explained that enough, with the live streams over the past year. Like I said, it's just last year and a half has been an absolute runaway, I guess you could say. It's just been one thing after another, and keeping up regular with YouTube was a tough go. And one of the easiest things to sacrifice is not hustling home after a big day of work and immediately live streaming at 6 or 7 o'clock, and there goes an entire night. So the Oilers kind of became secondary at one point last year, and looking forward to having them be a little bit more primary this year. Definitely would love to see the Oilers have a good start. Love to see me personally be a bigger part of the Oilers scene again. Obviously, that's something I live for. So hopefully we get back to regularly scheduled programming here, but that's where we're at here, is basically we're just waiting for the Oilers to get underway here this evening at 6 p.m. So the Oilers are trying to get things going here in the preseason for the final home game. That is where we are at, right? We're waiting for the Oilers to get this final preseason home game going, and like I said, I'm hoping that somebody's going to post a lineup here at some point. Bob Stauffer did say today as well that he does see the Oilers carrying Matt Savoy, Ike Howard, David Tomaszek, Noah Philp, and Alec Regula on their opening day roster. Now, what you have to keep in mind here is, for the Oilers, Zach Hyman's likely to be on LTIR to start the year, specifically if the Oilers want to get that done. So we'll see if they can, pull that off and figure out the cap math there, because for Hyman, he's going to miss until November 1st, and I think the Oilers would like to see some of the young guys at least try and take a foothold early on, maybe provide that little bit of extra element of speed, get out of the gates a little bit faster, and make up what the Oilers lost a couple of years ago, right? That's the tough part is, yeah, you did lose some speed. Not that the Oilers were really doing anything too major to change it personally until Corey Perry started fighting, but basically, it was just kind of a situation where a little bit more speed maybe early on last year would have been the game changer, but given the level of care from the Edmonton Oilers as a team through that preseason last year, through training camp, and in through the first 10 games of the year was kind of an embarrassment as well. So I don't know if, having a Warren Fogle would have changed anything drastically. Austin, good evening to you, sir. Hopefully, I don't know if you're live over there. I haven't had a chance to talk through any of that. Guess I could quickly go check and tell you guys, Austin's scheduled to go live here at 6 p.m. with the Toronto Blue Jays hat on in the thumbnail. The Blue Jays, of course, clinching the AL East today. That's a good go there as well. Looking forward to maybe getting some Blue Jays content up here over the next few weeks other than just shorts. Austin, I would say Thomas Scheck, from everything we have heard, is going to make the team. I think Bob Stauffer's been pretty high on the guy for the entire time, and I would not be surprised to see him get 100% a top 9 role with the Oilers. I mean, especially with the injuries to the guys up front right now, right? And if Podkolzin is out for the foreseeable bit, I think there would be a lot to say there, where the Oilers could very well slide Thomas Scheck, as they've seen, into Zach Hyman's power play role and just give him some runway at least to make an impact at the NHL level. So, all right. Definitely big thing today, I guess, just to get back to Austin's point about the Blue Jays there. The Blue Jays, I mean, it was a big game today. I think if any of you watched the Blue Jays game, it was up, down, all around, and an absolutely drastic kind of take on a final game of the season. But the Blue Jays got it done. They obviously end up, finding a way to win the division despite choking the division lead at the very last minute. And then, the Yankees just make it interesting right down to game 162. The Blue Jays, all they had to do is win. They take home top spot in the AL. Technically the AL winners this year, but the AL winner is only crowned after the ALCS. So there is still that to pull off for the Blue Jays. They will start in the ALDS, and then you get going with the ALCS if we are good enough after 5 games of the ALDS. And man, some ALCS Blue Jays baseball in the year 2025 with the team we've got here, which is just everybody contributing, everybody making an impact. It would be incredible to see what that team would get for buzz around our great country of Canada. So, no, it's going to be interesting to have a fall where the Blue Jays are in the playoffs. Obviously, first off, in a more guaranteed spot than the wild card series, which has ended in disappointment several times over here for the Blue Jays, and then as well to look at the Blue Jays in a fashion where, if they can find a way to just take hold and, captivate everybody and win the ALDS, and then from there the ALCS, it's game on. I mean, if the Blue Jays can get into the ALCS, I think there's a chance at the World Series. That said, depends who we see in the ALDS, whether it be Boston, whether it be New York, and how tired and tuckered out they are. I think if you see Boston and you get into the 9th down a couple of times against, that guy, Aroldis Chapman, he will dice you up, because he is on a mission here in 2025. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. But obviously, friends, as you're getting in here, we are just waiting for this Oilers Canucks game to get underway around 6 p.m. It's now 5:40 Mountain Time. So glad to have you aboard here this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're getting a chance to tune in. Of course, friends, if you are watching aboard here, if you want to hit that subscribe button here on the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. The goal for this year is 20,000. We're going to try and capitalize on a big year from the Oilers and get to that 20,000 mark. So If you haven't already hit that subscribe button here on the channel, I'm sure most of you regular viewers definitely would appreciate that as well. And if you could leave a thumbs up on the live stream, just gets it out there and gets it going. So, friends, the Oilers, I mean, I'm hoping for a good game out of them tonight. That's the big part this evening, is the Oilers desperately need to show up and get the job done here this evening, just in terms of, you know, keep having those good performances, look like you know what you're doing, look like you're a team that's going to take the first 10 games of the NHL seriously. And then yeah, you know, I hope it's easy watching, because that's the tough part. A lot of the times watching the Oilers in the preseason specifically, it can be a little bit of tough watching, and I'm just hoping they show up. They've shown up quite a few times already in this preseason, so hoping my Oilers can show up here again tonight and get the job done. So we'll see how that all pans out, though. There's plenty of time for things to go sideways yet, with, well, still half an hour or so to puck drop here this evening. So yeah, hopefully things get going here for a good game for the Oilers. We've got just a little bit of football pregame here on the TV right now before we get things fired up for the Oilers game. Looks like old Cowboys owner there, Jerry Jones, is on the panel. He's yakking away with one of his former quarterbacks again. I should know what's going on. Is that Tony Romo? Maybe it is. I don't know enough, but it is where it is. So right now for the Oilers, let's see if there's any anything we got going here, as this is the projected lines versus the Canucks. Austin just retweeted that over there. Looks like a pretty secondary lineup for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. So we'll see more of their stronger lineup next game out. So the Oilers will deploy, well, let's see here: Draisaitl, McDavid, Frederic, Howard, RNH, Mangiapane, Lazar, Philp, Kapanen, Szymanski, Tomaszek, Hudson. So, I don't even mean so. Out of your, you know, probably 14 forwards you're carrying, or 13 forwards out of the gate, you've got 10 of them in the lineup here tonight. Ekholm, Bouchard, Dineen, Emberson, Lepinen, and Regula up there for the Oilers on the defensive side. So, you know, you're still going with a half Bakersfield, half Oilers defense, but Ekholm, Bouchard, and the regular crew up front, that could definitely be a lot of fun to watch here tonight. So looking forward to seeing what the Edmonton Oilers can do with the bigger lineup against the Canucks. I know the big guns kind of disappointed there. A tough game against the Winnipeg Jets last time out. So see what we do here tonight. But as we get going, friends, yeah, it's just one of those things as well we do have to keep in mind. It is the NHL preseason, so hopefully none of anything means anything for the Oilers, but there is always the chance that a bad preseason means a bad start, and a good preseason still means a bad start. So the Oilers just desperately need to, you know, keep the gear going here the way they've had it, at least, you know, riding a little bit stronger than normal in the preseason, and go out there and get this job done in this regular season. The first 10 games, the Oilers can be 7-3-0. That would be absolutely fantastic. You know, own a division lead into the month of November. That would be great as well. Definitely could take that. That would be very, very welcome. And I really actually don't truly understand the Oilers schedule so much like I should. So let's quickly take an opportunity to go over there and see where we're sitting for the Oilers schedule here. I'd like to take a look, see what we can do. The Oilers schedule, we got the preseason. We're pretty much all the way through that already. We got the Seattle Kraken on October 1st, and then we've got the Vancouver Canucks on October 3rd. So the October 3rd we'll have the Canucks again on Sportsnet, and then October 8th, October 11th. Do we have a game on the 31st? No, we don't. So Halloween's free for you, those you that want to get out there and get a blast going. 7:30 p.m. start at home against the Utah Mammoth on October 28th, debuting the New Jerseys. And really from there, you've obviously got a situation where you got a couple Hockey Night in Canada games in the month of October. And other than that, a couple 1:30 starts out east in well, Detroit and New Jersey. So far everything's looking pretty manageable. Just a couple of game times I might struggle with to watch, but at least Cam Moon and Bob Stauffer will have us on the radio. So looking forward to that as the Edmonton Oilers look to kickstart what will be a very big first month of the year. So let's see what they do. Really, that's all it comes down to. See what they can do, see what they get the job done, and yeah, move forward with hopefully a good record in tow into November. Definitely grateful, I think, to have October 31st off. It's always kind of a little bit of a pain when you got plans on a night like Halloween and the Oilers are playing, just simply because you're trying to cover it all, and you usually don't end up getting a post game up if you're me. So that's where we find ourselves, friends. The Oilers, like I said, going with a veteran-heavy lineup tonight, and we'll see what they can do with it as Draisaitl, McDavid, Frederic, Howard, Arnage, Mangiapane, the top six, Lazar, Philp, captain in the third line, Szymanski, Tomaszek, and of course Tomaszek. No. Tom Ashik. I'm gonna have to listen to it again. Now I've confused myself. I've struggled with that all preseason ever since they said it's more like Dominik Hasek. So Tomaszek is, I think, how it is properly pronounced. Sorry, friends. You mispronounce the name all summer, especially when it's a pivotal name like David Tomaszek's name there. It'll screw you up pretty bad. So that's kind of my situation. Laugh at me all you want. Fair game on that one. But the Oilers now, we're 15 minutes away. I think I'm going to run upstairs and just quickly grab one more bite to eat before we get things going. Thanks for being aboard. Stay tuned. All right, let's get back to this, friends. My apologies. Like I said, last minute stream ideas aren't always the greatest, but we do make it happen. And, well, that's the idea here tonight, is to check in and get an old live stream up for one preseason game at least. Got to get something in there, right? So basically Bob Stauffer reiterating the lineup from the Edmonton Oilers, as we will go with Matt Tompkins as the backup here tonight. So that's something for you to know right there as well. So looking forward to seeing what the Oilers can get done for us here this evening, as we are closing in on game time here right away. So for the Oilers. Hopefully, good game against the Vancouver Canucks, as we got 10 minutes to go until the broadcast flips live on Sportsnet. So waiting for that to get going here this evening for us. So I mean, if the Oilers come out and dominate the scene here against the Canucks here tonight, that would be absolutely fantastic with a heavier veteran lineup. So that would be great. Sorry, friends, some technical difficulties on my end, just trying to clean things up here. So everybody, I think the majority went with Pickard and Savoy as the most impressive Oilers so far in the preseason. So thank you for voting in the poll, all 50 of you. If you haven't already left a like on the stream, let's get that going, because it's going to be a big night here to be an Oilers fan against the Vancouver Canucks. And give me a second here. Perfect. Awesome. And of course, a big welcome into everybody that has tuned into the live stream while I was upstairs. Sorry to miss you. It's been, like I said, a little bit of a scramble to get this live stream up and going today. Thinking, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the game on the couch. And that might be the struggle now that I have proper television this year, is, the struggle was kind of real to sit down here and enjoy the games while also broadcasting. Whereas now that it's not all one dang thing, I might just have a couple more live streams up. Like I said, I think I got a combined total between the preseason and regular season 7 up last year. So looking forward to having a few more live streams up. I'm thinking the idea, at least on the channel here this year, will be 1 a week. So, if the Oilers play 4 games, it'll be 1 out of 4, and at least try and get some, hockey in and a little bit up on the channel more than I had last year. Like I said, if you're just tuning back for the first time since last year and wondering where the playoff live streams and everything were, it was just an absolute mess over the past year and a half, trying to coordinate my life and balance, hanging out with friends, doing family things, and obviously as well trying to take those next few steps in life. And it's been a difficult journey, but I think we're ready and relaxed and kind of ready to finish off what should be the mission for the Oilers here this year, to win a Stanley Cup and then kind of start moving forward from there. So that is at least where we find ourselves here this evening, as we are 8 minutes away from puck drop tonight. From the live stream flipping over, however you want to say that. So we're hoping things get going here, as we are obviously, watching on Sportsnet tonight as the Oilers try to take home a big matchup against the Canucks with the veterans in the lineup. That's the thing, right? The Canucks have a younger, maybe a more rookie, maybe a less pro lineup in this game. So the Oilers should be capable of taking home a stronger performance than the Canucks. And like we said, Stuart Skinner's starting, so he needs to step up and have a good game as well. But I think I've made it clear there will be a lot to be made of how Calvin Pickard is used early on this season. That is for sure. So we'll see if it is indeed a 50-50 split, but I think, and it should be at least out of the gate, a 50-50 split for Picks and Stu, whether you want to say the first 10 or the first 20 games, because I think Pickard's at least earned that, and then you kind of start making decisions from there once you evaluate both goaltenders, what they've got for you in the regular season. I don't think there's any way Stuart Skinner is possibly worse than he was last year. I think a new goaltending coach, a more improved defense, obviously adding in Jake Wallman this year, and a more veteran presence from Ty Emerson after kind of getting those jitters of a rookie season with the Oilers out of the way. A more stable defense and hopefully more offense for the Oilers should lead to less problems for one Stuart Skinner. So we'll see where it goes from there. But obviously it is incumbent. I mean, I can talk up Stuart Skinner all I want. It's incumbent on Skinner to get that job done himself. That is the big thing right there. So keep that in mind as we get closer and closer to puck drop here this evening. Stuart Skinner's got to have a good game, that's for sure. So let's go here, quickly flip over to, where do we got the Oilers game on tonight? Sportsnet West, I'm game, let's do it. As the Oilers and Canucks will get things going here this evening at 6 p.m. So looking forward to that. And I'm liking seeing the Canucks fans coming through the chat as well. That means we're reaching out far enough for them to see, and that's always good news. So glad to have you aboard, friends. I mean, the Canucks, I think, I was a little hard on them back in the 24 playoffs, obviously, because I was not at all willing to lose to the Vancouver Canucks in the playoffs. But again, the playoffs are better when there are the most possible Canadian teams in the playoffs. And you know what? The Oilers, Canucks, Flames all making it in the top 3 spots in the Pacific Division. That would be absolutely phenomenal if they could all make it. So would love to see that. I think, the Canucks and Flames are probably more of a wild card team this year, depending on what the LA Kings can do to stay healthy. Already losing Corey Perry right out of the gate here in the preseason. But I really do have high expectations for the Canucks and Flames this year. So I wouldn't call myself a Flames or Canucks hater. I would say I'm a guy who's a big fan of Canadian hockey. And like I said, the more success all of our teams have, the better off it is for all of us. So right now, we are just waiting for this game to get underway in about 4 minutes' time over on Sportsnet West this evening. So hopefully that all goes according to plan for the Edmonton Oilers with a heavier veteran lineup and, of course, a stronger defense as well, probably against Vancouver Canucks. Now, friends, what I'm going to tell you is there is going to be a new jersey addition to the wall. We will probably be replacing, I would say, that the reverse retro over there in the corner this fall, as I already have my new Oilers. We have a new Oilers jersey on the way, the new alternate jersey. I've already pre-ordered it. Got only my second ever jersey with a letter on it, actually. So we're going to replace that reverse retro up there and figure that out from there. And then start, probably put the reverse retro down in the spot of the old Reebok jersey. And then that's the one that'll ultimately be replaced and probably forwarded on to somebody that needs a new jersey. So I know a couple of people that could use one. Trust me, down here you have some Oilers fans that haven't made their way up north in a long while, and those jerseys are looking ratty and worn. So we're gonna get some new jerseys out to some people that could definitely use some. So that's kind of the case. Is we will have another cream jersey up on the wall, the Oilers' new alternate this year. Of course, I don't know if saying that I got an A on the jersey is an option gives away who it is, but I think it does to quite a large extent. So it'll be awesome to debut that on live stream probably sometime the week after opening week. So that's kind of where we sit here this evening as well with the jersey talk. I would say is we're excited for what'll be a brand new Edmonton Oilers jersey in almost 2 weeks from now, and that's always a good feeling, isn't it, when you get a new jersey in the closet? So looking forward to that. And we have closed in on the 6 o'clock hour, 5:58, and we are oh so close to getting this game underway here against the Vancouver Canucks. The Oilers, like I said, icing McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederic, Mangiapane, RNH, Howard. The whole crew is out there tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. The only guy not in the lineup is Matt Savoie, who you would think should be up there. So keep that in mind as we get closer and closer. So Jack Michaels back to work on Ched 880 tonight as he'll get things going for the Oilers preseason. And the other note is Braden Coots and what do we got? Braden Coots. So Vancouver first round pick is out there for the Vancouver Canucks. So there you go. That's kind of the pregame notes from Jack Michaels, as terribly interpreted by myself. Sorry, my apologies. I can tell you, I'm a lot rusty after not doing this for a long dang while. You can hear it in the voice, you can hear it in the tone. It's a tough go when you haven't done this in pretty much almost a year. Like I said, the Oilers sucked me out of it quite early on in the year, starting 0-3, and then I just never really recovered last year, and it was a tough finish, obviously losing to the Panthers as well for the second year in a row. So we'll stay tuned and see if we can have a better outcome this year for the Edmonton Oilers. The goal is here tonight, friends, to get through this first period of play. I think then I'm going to carry on in my Sunday night activities, put the game on in the background, and get on with what is going to be a very, very important day of work tomorrow as we get geared up for a busy week before things really kickstart into the month of October and a busy fall season as heating season. I don't know about you, it's getting cold out there, and the old heating calls are about to heat on up. That much is for sure, to use a Gene pun. So we'll see if that is the case, or it stays a little bit warmer overnight. I don't know, but it's going to be absolute mania out there. The first cold snap of the year, I can almost guarantee that for you. It's 6 o'clock now, as the TV just hasn't quite flipped on over to the Oilers broadcast, but we should be there in a matter of no time at all. And then, well, hey, heck on. It's game time as the Oilers look forward to closing out what should be a good homestand for this preseason. It's going to be Canucks hockey, so yeah, the Vancouver Canucks will be, the television hosts of tonight's action for the Edmonton Oilers. Is that's kind of Vancouver's MO. They pay the money to televise all their preseason games on Sportsnet, which again, I don't know why the Oilers wouldn't just pay to televise their preseason games. I know they like making the money on Sportsnet Plus, but I feel like you can make way more money televising it on Sportsnet. Sorry, Oilers Plus, not Sportsnet Plus. But we're down in the heart of Edmonton here, Ice District, as we get things set up for what should be a beautiful game tonight. As I don't think, friends, for those of you saying that Evander Kane's going to be playing tonight, I don't think Evander Kane is in the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Just to let you know. I think as far as we go back here, let me go back down and let me go here. As it's Baines, Cheadle, Carlson, O'Connor, Coots, Lekimariaki, Sasson, Ratty, Sherwood, Labate, Almond, and McAhern for the Vancouver Canucks. There is no Evander Kane. I think Canucks fans and Oilers fans are just waiting for Kane to wreck the Oilers, but there is no Evander Kane tonight, to probably a lot of people's disappointment. Although you will likely see Evander Kane against the Oilers in the home game for the Vancouver Canucks here in the next few days. So, for the Oilers, though, Connor McDavid still without a contract extension. Seeing what he can do and seeing if he can shoot the puck a little bit more this season is going to be an absolute key. That much is for sure, as he's talked about wanting to be more of a goal scorer this year, and obviously being more shot first. Is he's scored 60 in the NHL before, and I think he can get the job done. So, I think if Connor can have 50, Leon can have 50, and, you have a couple other guys chip in 35 plus, we should be well on our way to getting a good job done this season in terms of scoring goals. So, that would be at least the hope, is Connor McDavid leads the way with 50 goals, so does Leon Draisaitl, and then everything after that's kind of a little bit of a joke for the Edmonton Oilers when it comes down to, winning hockey games. The more goals you score, it almost matters less that Stu Skinner might be giving up a few softies. So that'd just be that. So we'll see. But we are waiting for this Edmonton Oilers game to get underway here tonight. Is the Vancouver Canucks the opponent with a soft lineup? I mean, that's kind of what the preseason is, right? This is probably the final cuts of the young guys for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. So the softer lineup is as expected. And, well, it's a road game as well. And teams on the road generally give out their worst lineup possible at that point of the preseason. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So just waiting for this one to get underway in about 5 minutes time, friends. Thank you so much for being aboard here on Dolynny TV this evening. I appreciate you hanging out. If you want to leave a subscribe on the old channel, that would be greatly appreciated as well. The goal this year, by the end of the season, whether we get into the playoffs or not, is to hit 20,000 here. So what I mean by getting into the playoffs is if I'm live streaming the playoffs or not, but we're looking for 20,000, just north of 18,000 at this point here right now. So hoping for a really special year where the Oilers are a hot commodity and a team that's worth watching, at least early on in the regular season. Thank you to the two of you that have already hit that subscribe button. So I appreciate you hanging out with me here during the pregame portion. We are now one commercial break away from puck drop, and then we get to the play-by-play and we get crushing on what should be a really good good game, at least if the Oilers take it seriously and want to put the spin to the young Canucks rookies. So we'll see what happens, but I believe the Oilers, they should be able to do the job tonight. It shouldn't be too much of a problem at all. As we go here, friends, and I'm just going to quickly check things over one more time. All right, we're looking okay. As we are getting going here, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, I will say. Like I've mentioned a few times already on this live stream. This is the first live stream on Dolynny TV out of the studio since 2024, so it's been a long dang while here. So yeah, hopefully we can provide a good enough show. That's kind of all I'm hoping for, and yeah, see what we can do here this evening. So yeah, we'll see what we get going. As yeah, the old nerves kicking in, friends. I don't know if I've got the play-by-play in me tonight. Honestly, I should know the numbers and stuff by now. I've watched enough preseason. I've paid enough attention. And there aren't numbers like there normally are, so we should be fine. But yeah, the Oilers getting ready to kick things off with O Canada. That's the nice part about the preseason. Outside of the 2 games against Seattle, it's a majority one anthem games, and if you followed the channel long enough, you know how much I care about the one anthem games. So friends, appreciate the support on the pre-game portion as we now hit the anthems. 40 hours watched. Thanks for hanging out with me. Definitely didn't expect this large of a crowd, so hey, thanks for being aboard, and let's do this. If you've enjoyed the pre-game edition, leave a like as Rob Clark singing the anthem here as we get things going for what should be pretty good game. I'm excited. Like, that's the thing. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited. It's been a while, and I'm looking at the clock all day today. Am I going to be home in time to do a pre-game? Am I going to be home in time to even talk about the game? Am I going to be home at all, or will I just watch it at somebody else's house? Well, the answer is we're watching the game here loud and proud out of the studio this evening. The big Canadian flag going through the crowd right now as the Edmonton Oilers just moments away from kickstarting the final preseason game at home of the 2025 schedule. Obviously, Josh Szymanski, the hero in the last game. Quinn Hudson continues to have a good preseason. Noah Philp looking to build on his good preseason, and everybody else hoping to continue what's been a good one here as well. So, yeah, that's where we're at. And Charlie actually asking, the first time I've seen it pop up in the chat here tonight, why is the post limited to slow mode? Well, I will tell you, when people sit here and celebrate goals when I'm live talking about the Oilers, and then all of a sudden goals start happening in the game, people usually spam goal in the chat, and it's like you have 18 straight messages from the same person saying goal. I'm not a big fan of that. That's not cool to me. So we have put slow mode on to limit that kind of stuff from happening. So the only thing stopping the Oilers from scoring big goals tonight is Thatcher Demko. He's in net for the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously an up and down year last year, coming off some injuries. Stuart Skinner looking for a better outcome, I think, right? I mean, not great numbers overall, 286, 893 in the regular season last year. You'd love to see a little bit better from Stu, something sub 275, something over 905 and a save percentage would be absolutely beautiful from one Stuart Skinner. I think, though, you'll see the Oilers continue a little bit of their shot suppression as well, so Skinner will have to stop the high-quality ones when they happen. Face off at center ice here. Pulling in is Ratty against Nugent-Hopkins. Second line out there for the Oilers. Face-off is down. Ratty wins it back to the right D-man. He'll fire in right side boards into Skinner. Skinner knocks it down in behind his own net. Over to the far side. The pass quickly over to the Oilers zone. Mangiapane, though, stumbles it in the neutral zone. Canucks gather back up at their own blue line. Pettersson rolling up. That is Marcus Pettersson for the Canucks. He rolled it down the left wing into the Oilers zone. Went over to the right side corner. Picked up now by Cam Dineen in his own end as he'll bounce pass, and a couple of outlets there for the Oilers. Quickly gets it into the neutral, and then a far side pass across, trying to find Ike Howard streaking down the middle for the Oilers. Couldn't quite do it as Pettersson there takes it away for the Canucks. Knocked down in the neutral territory by Matthias Ekholm. He'll knock it on over to Bouchard near side boards inside the Oilers' end. He retreats back to the dot, does Bouchard. Quick pass up, and here comes Connor McDavid in flight over to Leon Draisaitl, who loses an edge, takes out the linesman. Draisaitl's slow to get up, as he usually is, and that allows the Canucks to transition through the middle and knock it into the near side corner Oilers end. Pass back to the blue line, knocked away by the Oilers there, stolen by Draisaitl as he takes Frederic over the blue line. Pass to Frederic on the inside, right in front of Demko, not quite good enough to get there, and that will be the Canucks in the near side corner in their own end. Getting it back to the blue line, Bouchard with control, Draisaitl down the boards to McDavid. McDavid looking for an option to shoot. Here's a pass to the middle by McDavid. Chance there, and the Oilers will eventually score. I honestly have no clue where that puck was, but Connor McDavid knew it the whole way, and he finds a way to tuck that puck into the back of the net. I don't know if it was truly McDavid who scored, but 18:32 to go here in this first period of play. A scramble in the crease, and the Oilers are the capitalizers on that one. And going up 1-0, Trent Frederic, net front presence. Like I said, Patrick Maroon was an absolute beauty for the Oilers alongside McDavid and Draisaitl several moons ago. And Trent Frederic, same kind of archetype player, could very well do that, at least early on in the absence of one Zach Hyman. It is indeed Connor McDavid's goal as he comes from behind the net on a loose puck at the side of the net and just tucks it around the sprawling defenseman to score the first goal of the game. As this puck comes down near side inside the Canucks territory, taken away now by Kapanen. Kapanen pass to the middle there as Lazar will see it tapped up off the end wall. Backhand shot towards the middle as the Oilers knock it down again, far side of the net, trying to just keep the pressure on down low. As a nice play by Philp to protect that puck along the far side wall, trying to feed it back in front on the reverse for Lazar. Cut off by the Canucks. Regula battling to keep it in. He will instead maintain possession just outside of the blue line for the Oilers, and this will be picked up on a couple of whacks by the Vancouver Canucks by Noah Philp, and the Oilers will go off for a line change as they reset in behind Stuart Skinner. So here we go. There you have it. A 1-0 lead right out of the gate for the Edmonton Oilers to begin tonight's hockey game. We're only a few minutes in. Chasing it behind his own net was Demko, quickly leaving it there for the defenseman, though, was Demko, as this will be played ahead. The Canucks yet to get a real shot off here in this period, as Dineen, a good play to keep the man to the outside, takes him into the end wall. It's a battle in behind the net as that will be picked up by Vancouver off the end wall in the Oilers zone. Dineen quickly targeting the puck as the Canucks rolled it in behind. And this will be picked up by Szymanski as the puck had come free and just bobbled out by Quinn Hudson all the way down into the Canucks territory. Demko on the non-icing call will leave it there for his defenseman, and the Canucks will restart inside their own end. Quickly up, Hronek across the line into the Oilers zone on a pass. The shot from the outside steered away by Stu Skinner, a little quicker by the looks of that one getting to that, and this will be Skinner battling it off the boards to Bouchard. Bouchard bounces it to Ekholm, quickly out into the neutral territory. A play across to Ike Howard, just couldn't quite get there on that puck, and this will allow Bouchard to sneak down the near side wall. He missed the puck. Canucks back the other way. Sasson, I don't think he realized the support he had coming in, despite the Canucks maybe looking for a line change there. And then a sloppy play by the Oilers ends up a shot off the goalpost by the Canucks. A shot, just kind of a needless pass right up the middle by the Oilers, and that was into no man's land just above the dots, and Joseph came in and hammered that puck right at the top of the slot off the goalpost. I mean, you want to blame Stuart Skinner for not being ready for that puck. I don't think anybody expected that puck and that pass to go straight out from behind the net right up top there. So we've got ourselves a game as the Canucks get their first dangerous chance. 16:20 to go here in this first period of play. Across the line and out, the Oilers are able to force it back into the neutral territory. The Canucks quickly gather and get it back in, trying to sneak it down the far side wall. McDavid staples his man against the wall, and this will be turned over again by the Oilers. Bouchard battling for puck possession, gets it to McDavid, who immediately turns it over. All of a sudden, puck management for the Oilers a little bit difficult here inside their own zone over the past 30 seconds. Back to the blue line, a shot from the blue line, stopped there by the Oilers. Quickly back down to Hedl to the middle. The puck directed by the Canucks. Stolen again right in front. And Stuart Skinner bails the Oilers out with a big chest save. But my goodness, this Oilers team struggling with puck possession over the past 2 minutes inside their own zone. And that's what you kind of get in these preseason games. A little bit of carelessness sometimes. And the Oilers just desperately clinging to life here with this 1-0 lead. after O'Connor just couldn't quite tuck that over the shoulder of Stu Skinner, who's made a couple of saves here at least to begin, and Skinner's getting some work done on his mask by the looks of it. Maybe that puck was off his mask. I don't know what I might have missed, but it looks like he's just getting things double checked before he gets back into the crease. He'll get the gloves, the stick, the blocker, everything all perfectly so to get back in the net. And we'll get this game back underway as Stu Skinner, a key save there. I mean, again, this is the big thing you're looking for, is he's lost some weight. You still want to see him look big in net and make those big man saves that he so often can. And a little bit better refined movement from Skinner is another key piece here. So let's see what we can do here as the face-off. Philp sees it one back by the Canucks. Puck now far side boards. The Canucks make a little bit of a turn in the corner there, back to the far side boards. Kind of trying to just make a play out of the corner back to the blue line here. Canucks take a big hit along the blue line, and the Oilers quickly looking to load this up as Philp stole it away. Philp out of the far side corner. He's lumbering up the left wing, and it'll be a tap play at center. Just enough sticks there allows Regula to get a pass across. That wasn't capitalized on by the Oilers again, seeming to be, and I don't know if you're seeing this on your end as well, just a step behind most of the plays so far here in the first 5 minutes. You know, they've gone to make some offensive plays and just seem to be that one step behind it as Philp gathers up inside his near side corner, leaves it there for, who is that, Atro Leppinen. Lepinen's got the visor a little bit up, and there is something going on. The goal light just went off at Rogers, but I think play is going to continue here as this puck is across the blue line for the Oilers. A shot loading from the blue line, as I don't know who that was. That was Josh Szymanski just trying to catch everybody off guard like Joseph did earlier on, and just some difficulties here as the Oilers getting some good looks here in this game, but just can't quite find a way to get this next goal, as they've, you know, given up some grade A opportunities against and can't seem to turn the tide by getting passes to Canucks. So here we go. Face off inside the Canucks zone. Puck won back by the Vancouver Canucks. 14:31 to go in this first period of play. Puck comes down on a dump to Stuart Skinner. Off a body to the blue line. The Canucks rim around to the near side. Crashing heavy was forward. And this will allow Tomaszek to pick it up. Tomaszek, as we get this going. As this will be across the line. The Oilers just, again, a soft chip. The defense of the Canucks able to turn them back, though. A nice play there on a steal by Tomaszek, as this will be a shot from the outside by the Oilers. Turned aside by Demko. Quickly closing on that puck. The Oilers looking to sniff some blood in the water here, as they've got something going here in this little bit of possession inside the Canucks zone. But again, a pass to a guy who's just a half step behind the play with 13:44 to go here in this first period of play. 2-2 the shot, so it's been a highly entertaining game despite only having 4 shots registered. But the Oilers, I mean, a little bit better response on that shift there, getting the job going a little bit by little bit. And now the Canucks a little bit more of an NHL line at least out there, as they line up Forbert and Hronek, as this puck will be redone for the face-off. Nugent Hopkins out there for the Oilers right now. He'll take the face-off against Ratty. The Oilers win it back. The shot from the blue line bounces up straight into the slot off Demko. The Oilers gather a weak dump along the boards by the Canucks into the corner. This is Nugent Hopkins looking for a pass. He's going to try and find Ike Howard. Howard battles into position, just never was able to get the stick in there. This will be picked up now by the Oilers inside the Canucks zone on a good gather by Bouchard. Quickly, Mangiapane throws a hit. The Oilers get possession of the puck. Mangiapane's taken down, or I think might have just blown a tire himself, not too sure. And the Canucks, in that scramble, are able to get through the neutral zone, dump it in behind the Oilers' net. Picked up by Bouchard. He'll spin. Bouchard looking for a pass here. He'll go up the near side boards, get it into the Canucks zone, and that will be a dump that works out beautifully for the Oilers. There's 12:52 to go here in this first period of play. The Canucks will try and rifle it up through the neutral zone off of a tip. Be picked up by Leppinen for the Oilers, over to Regula over to the far side. Backhanded there by the Oilers. Couldn't quite get that one through. 12:39 to go here in this first period of play. A rim back down behind the net. The Oilers trying to gather steam to get out into the neutral zone. They do, as this will be picked up again by Pettersson for the Canucks. He turns it over. The Oilers loading up a shot Regula's had a couple of good walks down the right side inside the Canucks territory. Picked up now into the middle of McDavid, a one-timer. Shot just misses up over top of the net. Regula quickly gathers again. He's making some good plays here. Nice play by McDavid, one-on-one. Dances around Demko, but the Canucks defender crashes the net there. Marcus Pettersson takes out the net. And that will do it for that sequence of action. 12:06 to go, and we'll have a quick commercial timeout. Friends, if you are new to the channel and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, definitely consider doing that. Would love to have you aboard as a full-time viewer on the channel. Of course, subscribing is easy and free to do, so no worries there. And by the way, as well, I hate to say, the goal is 20,000 this year, so hoping that is what happens as we get closer and closer regular season action in Darcy. Again, if the Oilers don't win tonight, there will be some cranky fans. And again, the Oilers at some point, the big guns do have to take a preseason game seriously. If tonight's one of them to take seriously, that would not be a bad thing at all. So McDavid obviously scoring the game opening goal for the Oilers. You'll love to see that from Draisaitl and Trent Frederic. That, of course, will be a big combo for the Oilers, the new look top line, at least for the first month. Well, Mr. Zach Hyman is out of the lineup, so we're getting closer and closer to the real look Edmonton Oilers, and hopefully it all comes together like Mr. Chris Knobloch is planning for the Oilers, because if it doesn't, that as well could lead to a lot of problems in the fandom. So yeah, no, I mean, I guess to say a pretty solid first little bit for the Edmonton Oilers. You've got the lead after just about 10 minutes, and I think as well you're doing a good enough job to, have the Canucks in a spot where they have to respond, and that's what matters the most as the Edmonton Oilers is, I think it comes down to, for the Oilers, the more you end up doing early in the season in terms of goal scoring and in terms of just being a more serious team, the better off you're going to be, that's for sure. So right now we're just hoping that this game gets back on our way, because they're showing Abbotsford Canucks highlights here. And it looks like Linus Karlsson was he a big part of that Abbotsford Canucks team? I think so. Now it just comes down to finishing this period with a big goal. I think that's the big part. Get a 2-0 lead here and show the Canucks that you're a little bit serious about tonight's game, since they're sending the B squad to Edmonton. The Oilers veterans may be a little disrespected by that. I get that the defense and the goaltending's a little bit more up there for the Canucks tonight, but the forward group definitely is not quite the strongest it could be. Adam Foote on the bench for the Canucks here tonight in this preseason game, as 11:58 to go in this first period of play, as the Canucks and Oilers, well, it's 1-0. The Oilers with 4 shots on goal. Noah Philp now in the face-off dot against Coots. And hopefully things get going here for the Edmonton Oilers in the next little bit. So shot on for Demko. He ends up making the save. 11:53 to go in this first period of play as the Oilers and Canucks continue to get going. I really wonder, again, friends, I'm really sticky with the volume on the live streams, because typically it's always showing on peaking, so let me know. But 11:53 to go in this first period of play. The Canucks moving to the near side, battling there against the Oilers in the neutral zone. Again, just the puck bouncing around a little bit there, and a backhand in by the Canucks finally gets it into Edmonton territory. Stuart Skinner, a dangerous play there by the Oilers defense. That puck ended up at the side of the net with no Skinner in net, as that puck just bobbles out in the neutral that way. 11:30 to go here in this first period of play. The Canucks back into their own territory. They'll play it across to the near side. Kapanen cut that off. Tries to cut it off a second time. Can't do it. And now here come the Canucks back the other way. O'Connor over to the far side. The shot towards the net drifts off Skinner. Picked up now by Noah Philp. Philp will bounce it up off the glass into the neutral zone and look to get a line change in here for the Oilers. 11:06 to go now in the first period as time continues to wind down. The Oilers with 5 shots in the game. Tomashik off the boards. He doesn't get it out. The Canucks able to send it back deeper into the Oilers zone. And again, puck management inside the Oilers zone has been at a premium tonight. The shot towards the net blocked in front. This one will be picked up now by the Oilers again. Reversed off the boards to Cam Dineen. Picked up by Tomashik, and he'll get it out in the neutral. Tomashik again, though, cuts off Hudson's path. And that ends up sending the puck back into the Oilers zone. Picked up again by Tomashik as he tries to get things going. Looks a little frustrated out there as that puck just continually bouncing away. The Canucks, quick move to the outside on a spinorama. Turned aside by Stuart Skinner, and the Oilers will gather steam and try and get out of their own end here as Hudson drifts it over to Tomashik, who is going off for a line change. And this will be picked up by the Canucks out into the neutral zone. Flipped into the Oilers' end. Peter, welcome aboard as this one comes near side. Back now picked up by Howard. Howard will be stapled into the boards. Battle along for the puck. Bouchard over to the far side. And the Canucks will be just over the line, tapping it down low. 9:48 to go here in this first period of play. The Oilers battling there. Bouchard gets the puck moving for Nugent Hopkins, who gets it up and out into the Canucks territory. And that's as far as it goes. Canucks quickly back the other way. Man, puck management from both teams here in this first period. You can tell it's a preseason game. They are scrambling to get things going. As this one to the outside. Here's an Oiler that's right on the shot. A beauty for the Oilers, turned aside there by the Canucks goaltender Demko, a natural Lepinen, who's wearing Warren Fogel's old number 37. Draisaitl now on the ice for the Oilers, 9-12. He's got the puck inside his own zone. He's trying to get up through the middle, trying to pass it over to McDavid. Couldn't do it. Regula with a quick tap back to Draisaitl, who will hammer a pass right onto McDavid's tape. It bobbled off for a brief second, but he got it there eventually. Bouchard over to Ekholm. The shot blasted. Hits Trent Frederick. Comes back down low now for Draisaitl near side corner. Draisaitl just off the face-off dot there. Gets it over to Bouchard. Back to Ekholm. Shot comes in. Demko turns it aside. McDavid with the puck. 8:40 to go here in this first period of play. The shot down low to Draisaitl. Back high to McDavid. McDavid looking to shoot that puck. Pocket is picked by the Canucks and will be moved again by the Oilers on a soft chip by the Canucks back into the Canucks territory. Here's Vancouver defending this shot from McDavid. Jamming away. The Oilers have scored. I think Trent Frederick pushed that through Thatcher Demko, and this is a good look here from this top line. 2-0, 12 minutes in. Demko struggling to keep up with the pace that Frederick, Draisaitl, and McDavid are attacking the net with. And just a really poor play into the neutral zone by the Canucks. Leads back the other way as a shot here from McDavid gets through, and then a nice poke there by Trent Frederick past the outstretched pad of Thatcher Demko as he's trying to get things going to the outside. And yes, nice play by Frederick right in front. So yeah, big game here from the Oilers. Loading, it looks like, as Demko, like I said, maybe not necessarily his fault, but the Oilers loading up Frederick alongside McDavid and Draisaitl. The more I thought about it, the more I like that, simply because, you know, you have that Pat Maroon situation, but you also have McDavid and Draisaitl in the middle part of their careers, kind of their prime, versus where they were when they had Pat Maroon back in the day. So that's where we're at. 7:59 to go here in this first period. Patrick, welcome aboard. Glad to see you in the chat, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. This is the first stream I've done since 2024, by the way. So there is that. Patrick's comment is valid. 7:45 to go here in this one, as it'll be pulled up in the middle by Alec Regula over to the far side corner, as this will be, who is that? Quinn Hudson battling along the end wall. 7.5 to go in this first period of play. Puck back to the blue line. Szymanski looking for a passing option. Lepinen got there late, but he did get there enough to kick it into the far side corner. The Canucks retrieve the puck. 7:18 to go now in this first period, as it'll be moved out by Cheadle. Cheadle across the line. He's pushed off balance by Lepinen, who, you know, kept him to the outside, and a shot fired off the end wall. And this will be picked up now to the near side. A big shot there at the blue line by the Canucks is able to keep that puck retrieval going for Hronek, as the Canucks batter around a couple times in their own zone. Puck to the far side by Forbert. Gunned up the middle by the Canucks. It'll be an icing call if they get there, and Matthias Ekholm will. And Patrick, I mean, that's the beautiful part of it, right? You balance out the lineup. You can have Draisaitl and McDavid together if you have Nugent Hopkins and Hyman with a legit player. And if you have Frederic alongside McDavid and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins and Hyman alongside somebody like Howard or alongside Mangiapane, things could look very, very good for the Oilers, at least early on through the month of November, December, and then start balancing out depending on how teams start counteracting it. 6:43 to go. Looks like we're going to have another commercial timeout, friends. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. I know I'm hammering that heavy, but like I said, goal is 20,000. We've got less than 2,000 to go to get there this year, so definitely something I want to focus on quite heavily here this year. That would be absolutely fantastic to hit 20,000. I think at that point I could pretty much sit down and retire. Honestly, it would be the coolest thing to hit 20,000. That's been the goal for a long dang time, and now it's where we are. So, all right, we are rolling along into what has been a solid period of hockey from the Edmonton Oilers. Trent Frederic scoring the goal, and now we're just waiting for this game to get off commercial break. So, this line is going to be a handful for opposing teams. I think you've seen through 15 minutes ish of this first period just how much this Edmonton Oilers team is going to be a problem if they can have success with three other lines and running Frederic alongside McDavid and Draisaitl. It's going to be fun to at least watch for even a limited time before Zach Hyman gets back. And I would not be surprised to see the Oilers, if they're having success, wait until the very final moment they possibly can to activate Zach Hyman. The longer Hyman sits out and you're having success, almost the better for the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers are going to have to sit somebody this year just to maintain one of the top six guys in full mint condition for playoffs. And if it's Zach Hyman, I'm okay with that, right? Hyman plays a physical, heavy, strong game, and the unfortunate injury is what it is during the playoffs last year. But it would be beautiful to see Zach Hyman be able to be a workhorse for the Edmonton Oilers this year because he comes in fully rested and fully healthy. So closing in on getting back to regular action here is they've got Philip Heedle's contribution goals for him this year, and obviously talking about concussions and stuff. A shot from the blue line there by the Oilers just missed on the left side of the net as the Oilers quickly get back some puck possession here inside the Canucks territory. Emberson plays it along the near side boards. Puck battle there as Mangiapane stapled Nugent Hopkins alongside Howard out there as the line combination. 6:18 to go here. Nice play by Howard to poke it free. He'll bat it over to Emberson, and the Oilers will reload the attack here in this first period of play. Coming down the left wing, right wing, Dineen fires the backhand in on Demko. It's stopped with 6:07 to go in this first period of play. The Oilers have 10 shots. The Canucks only 3 through 14 minutes thus far. Yeah, if the Oilers play like this every first period, we are going to have a lot of fun. Again, it's the Canucks B squad. You got to keep that in mind. They also hit a post where Stuart Skinner was completely beaten clean. So you gotta keep the little things, the details in mind here. But Nugent Hopkins line sets up McDavid, Draisaitl, and Frederic to come over the boards as Frederic battles that puck free. Nice pass there by Bouchard. Gets the puck all the way down to Draisaitl on a hop off the blade. Draisaitl trying to feed backdoor for McDavid. Then McDavid returns the favor, and the Canucks are able to pick it off. But a good little sequence there by the Edmonton Oilers. Just, making the Canucks work inside their own zone. Here's Draisaitl stealing a puck away with 5:45 to go in this first period of play. Puck now over to the near side for Bouchard, who will be content to dump it into the far side boards. Rims around the near side. Oilers quickly on that puck. McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederic still attacking here. And that'll be the Canucks gathering to the far side and getting out into the neutral zone. Pucks fired back on the tape of Filip Hronek with 5:20 to go in this first period of play. Hronek right in front of his own goaltender, Kapanen now on the ice over to the far side. 5:13 to go in the first period as time continues to wind down. What's been a steadily played period here from the Oilers. After that, mid-scramble from 18:30 to about 15 minutes on the clock. The Oilers were a little scrambly inside their own zone. Canucks with their first real zone possession time in a bit here. They'll get it batted back to the middle of the ice. Atro Lepinen cuts it off. He quickly speeds out towards the near side blue line and then bounces it off the glass for an icing call, unfortunately, with 4:46 to go here in this first period of play. This big hit there kind of took out Matthias Ekholm. That was Sherwood with the big hit, and quite a collision there. And then obviously Noah Philp tries to ride out a guy, but ends up taking a tumble into the boards himself. So with 4:46 to go in this first period of play, 9-3 the shots on goal for the Oilers. Philp wins it back. The ice looks pretty chewed up at Rogers Place right now, if I'm being honest, just based on that close-up we just got. Here's Regula getting across the blue line. He's battled off the puck right there by the Canucks down the near side boards, and the Oilers just kind of looking a little bit disjointed here in the attack over the past few moments since Draisaitl and McDavid got off the ice. There's 4:20 to go here in the first period. As this will be worked back to Lepinen. He's battling against a Canucks attacker. Cheadle was able to steal that puck away, and then another Canuck wrapped that puck around the net as Pettersson gets it down low for the Canucks. The pass in front across crease goes wide of the net and all the way wide into the far side boards. 4:02 to go here in this first period of play. Regula with the puck in behind his own net. Friends, we are just about up and done this first period as he will slow things down. Will Regula. Skinner's calm, cool, collected in net, and there's a nice play by the Oilers. Gunning that puck up the ice. Regula with a beautiful pass to Tomashik. The shot from the far side blue line comes in front. The Oilers again steal a puck. Pass in front. And what a find. Howard jamming away at the side of the net. Still can't score. And Demko finds the puck. The Oilers turn nothing into something right there. A couple of beautiful passes. And Ike Howard with a great couple of whacks on net. 2-0 for the Oilers here in a commercial timeout now as we go to our final break of the first period. Friends, what a first period this has been. I didn't expect the Oilers to come out with this great of an effort, especially, given that the Top Guns struggled against Winnipeg. But they are putting it together here so far tonight. And that is something you love to see against a more veteran Canucks defense and a veteran goaltender in net, but also a more rookie lineup up front. The Oilers taking advantage of maybe some sloppier decisions in the two-way game from the Vancouver Canucks so far tonight. So, yeah, the Oilers are definitely getting the job done here this evening, and I like to see it because the more pressure the Oilers put on teams in the early part of the year, the better off it'll be for us. That is for sure, as we are getting closer and closer to the end of this first period. I want to thank you for being aboard, and again say, friends, if you've been hanging out on the live stream and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, definitely recommend doing that. There will be a post-game edition here tonight if you have some time to tune into it after the game is up and done, so definitely make sure to turn on notifications as well if you haven't already done that for when the video goes live here on the channel. So we are just waiting for the Oilers to get back to action here in this first period of play. What a first period it's been, right? So Frederick from McDavid and Draisaitl, McDavid from Draisaitl and Frederick, the top line, both with 2 points for everybody, and that's great to see. The Canucks, their home opener Thursday, October 9th against the Calgary Flames. So the Flames, a tough schedule right out of the gate. They could easily be 0-2, and Ike Howard with a scramble in the crease trying to whack that puck home. There's 4 Canucks in the blue paint at one point, and Ike Howard is stonewalled by Thatcher Demko at the very last minute. So here we go. The final 3.5 minutes to go in this period of play as the Oilers will tap it to the middle of the ice. That's a little bit of a loose play there by the Oilers, and it'll be worked now across the blue line by the Canucks. Quickly stolen away by the Oilers. Battled back to Draisaitl, who will try and get it out in front. A soft play goes kind of errant in front of the Oilers' net, and that allows the Canucks to tie it up near side corner. 3:13 to go here in this first period of play. Canucks now with 4 shots on the game. Stuart Skinner with 4 saves out of the gate, and a thankful moment the post had his back. 3 minutes to go in this first period as the Canucks tap it along the near side wall just across the Oilers' blue line. It goes either it's offside or there's a penalty upcoming to the Edmonton Oilers. Bouchard will go off for tripping. So that is where we're at as Noah Philp. Yeah, Noah Philp is definitely going to be the Edmonton Oilers' fourth line center this year. I think with the injuries, it's easy to slide Henrique to the wing position. So I would not be surprised to see a very different looking lineup for the Oilers that is very capable of producing much more offense than last year, at least out of the gate here to begin this season. 2-0 the Oilers over the Canucks early on in this hockey game this evening. 78.2% on the penalty kill last year, ranked 16th for the Oilers in the playoffs, or in the regular season. So that doesn't make sense. Maybe that's in terms of the preseason. I'm not sure how that's going. I don't know how they dictated those stats, but the Oilers' penalty kill was not great last year. So the shot, and there's another penalty upcoming, a tripping call again, and I think it's going to go against the Vancouver Canucks this time. 2:49 to go in the first period. The Canucks just starting to cook on the power play there, and they're going to get a penalty for hauling down Ty Emberson as Cheadle took out the backs of his legs. And we will have 4-on-4 here for the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks, pretty much to close out this first period of play. There will be about basically minute 30. I don't know how to math. I'm not doing math on a weekend. Sorry. There will be like 58 seconds or something like that to go. Anyway, face off inside the Canucks territory, 9-5. The shots on goal. The Canucks win it back off the face-off. Big battle there along the end wall. Mangiapane and, of course, Nugent-Hopkins digging in there as Nugent-Hopkins back to the blue line for Emberson. It's kicked off his skates and it'll go to the far side. And the Oilers will get things going as Emberson loads up here. It looks like the Oilers are going with a 4-on-4 attack of Nugent-Hopkins, Mangiapane, Emberson, and Dineen. Minute 26 to go in the 4-on-4 as the Oilers gather speed through the neutral zone. Here's Emberson down the right wing. He'll try and pass it to the middle. Swallowed up by the Vancouver Canucks defender Marcus Pettersson. Quickly worked out by Nugent-Hopkins. The shot off of Demko squeaks into the slot. No Oiler there to attack that puck. And this will now be stolen. Nope, actually Mangiapane just skated right on by it. Now he's trying to steal that puck. Minute to go here in this 4-on-4. Puck through the neutral zone. Canucks across the line. Miscommunication as the Oilers will quickly swallow that up and get it back going the other way. Here's McDavid with speed. Pivot back towards the point. Loading up back home off the end wall to Draisaitl. Worked over to Regula. Regula stapled into the boards there. And Regula looks like a guy who's going to get some NHL ice time this year for the Oilers, by the way, the line combinations and how he's playing. The shot from the top of the slot there by Draisaitl just ripped up over top of the net. This one will come down to the near side corner. Chronic with a $1:24 to go here in this first period of play. Quickly worked out by the Canucks, tapped off their stick. The puck just rolling around. Nobody's got it until the Canucks get a line change in. And here now Lekkermiecki for the Canucks over the line. Stolen away by McDavid again. 4 seconds to go in the 4-on-4 across the line over to the far side. Draisaitl perfectly still on that play. Will load up McDavid over to Bouchard. Bouchard pass to the middle. I don't know where that was going. Brutal pass there. And the Oilers again have passed the puck away a couple of times here in this first period. Puck right up down the middle. Splits the seam for Cheadle. Shot in on net. And Stuart Skinner mano a mano makes the save on Hedl. And that's a big stop for Mr. Stuart Skinner, who, last year struggled with the one-on-ones and instead turns away a big save there. 39.4 on the clock. 39.4 is a pass right up the middle of the Oilers. Caught sleeping right through the middle of the neutral zone. And what a play there by Stuart Skinner to make that save as he just looked straight dead into the middle of the net and, swallowed it up with the pads in the midsection and then swallowed it up with the glove. 39.4 seconds to go. Face off to the right of Stuart Skinner, friends, as we're about to close out tonight's live stream with the Oilers up 2-0, 12 shots in this first period. You love to see it. As we have just a little bit of a delay here, we'll get a new face-off man in. Szymanski will come in for the Edmonton Oilers. Face-off down, one back by the Canucks. Shot loaded. Stuart Skinner, another save through traffic. You'll love to see that as well. as 36.2 remains on the clock here in this first period of play. And I'm looking forward to dinner. I'm very much so starving. There's a big save for Skinner. That's a big one. That's for sure. Back-to-back shots for the Canucks. 6 shots now for them. As we'll have the face-off. Tomashik takes it, scrambles it to the near side wall. Leppinen sees it moved there by the Oilers into the neutral territory. Less than 30 to go in this first period of play. Tomashik along his own bench, able to bat it there. Szymanski battling for the puck, kind of giving a couple of cross-checks to the man in front as well. Regula over to Leppinen. Leppinen looks small. Leppinen looks really small out there. It's the first time really watching him on TV. I've listened to a lot of the radio so far. 12.5 to go here in this first period of play. McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederick very happy with their first period of play. That's for sure. Great effort out of the Oilers here in this first period. And now the Canucks, it'll be incumbent on them to respond here in this first few minutes of the second period once they go to intermission. But, yeah, we'll see. As Tomashik will come into the face-off dot against Cheadle. And, Peter, I'm not exactly sure what's for dinner. I haven't quite decided yet at this point. We'll see what I get up to in the kitchen. Probably something quick and dirty, as we're going to have to get through the last 3 seconds of this first period. The Canucks sauce a pass across the zone. They wind down time off the clock. Friends, thank you so much for being aboard here on the ride tonight. If you are new to the channel, like I said, consider hitting that subscribe button. But it's 2-0 for the Edmonton Oilers, and that will do it for me here this evening. Appreciate you being aboard for the entire hour and a half we were live. For right now, though, I am up on out of here.